Vane hammered the city of Bellgrave like nails on a coffin. At exactly 11:47 p.m., every digital clock in the city froze. Phones stopped, traffic lights died, security systems failed. For 7 terrifying minutes, Bellgrave went blind, and during those 7 minutes, the richest man in the city vanished from a locked penthouse 50 floors above the ground. No broken windows, no signs of struggle, no fingerprints. Only one thing remained on the marble floor beside a half-finished glass of wine, a small black chess pawn. Detective Elias Vane hated unsolved puzzles. Bellgrave called him the Bloodhound because he could find answers buried under lies, corruption, and fear. He was sharp, quiet, and dangerously observant. But this case felt wrong from the start. The missing billionaire, Victor Hale, wasn't exactly loved. He owned half the city's energy grid and had enemies in politics, business, and crime. Still, nobody could explain how a man disappeared from a sealed penthouse during a citywide blackout. The media called it magic. Elias called it planning. And one name kept appearing in whispers: Silas Reign, a criminal mastermind nobody had ever photographed clearly. No fingerprints, no voice recordings, no confirmed age, just stories. Banks robbed without forced entry. Witnesses bribed before crimes even happened. Judges blackmailed with secrets they never told anyone. Silas never stole money alone. He stole information. People called him the ghost accountant because somehow he always knew the future. 3 days into the investigation, Elias received a package, no return address. Inside was an old cassette tape, written on it in silver ink, "You are already late." Elias played it. Static crackled for several seconds, then a calm voice spoke. "Detective Vane, if you are hearing this, it means I've decided not to kill you." Elias froze. The voice continued. "Victor Hale is alive, for now, but finding him will require you to answer one question." A pause. "What would you sacrifice to know tomorrow?" The tape ended. At that exact moment, Elias got a call. Another billionaire had disappeared. Same blackout, same chess pawn. That's when Elias noticed something terrifying. Both victims owned competing companies trying to purchase a powerful experimental technology known as the Aurora engine, a machine designed to predict human behavior using massive amounts of surveillance data. Not predict trends, predict people, what they'd buy, who they'd betray, who they'd love, who they'd kill. The project had been shut down publicly after ethical concerns, but Elias discovered someone had secretly rebuilt it. Someone who understood that controlling information meant controlling society itself. Silas Reign. Elias tracked down Lena Meyer, a former cybersecurity engineer who once worked on Aurora before disappearing from public life. He found her hiding inside an abandoned subway station beneath the city. She looked exhausted, paranoid, like someone who hadn't slept peacefully in years. "You shouldn't have come here," she told him immediately. "You know Silas?" Elias asked. Lena laughed nervously. "Know him? I created the monster." She explained that Aurora was never meant to predict crimes. It was designed to manipulate outcomes. With enough data, Aurora could calculate how to push people towards specific decisions. A message here, a delay there, a rumor, a tragedy. Small nudges that created massive consequences. Silas had stolen the system years ago and improved it. Now he used it to engineer reality itself. "He doesn't rob banks anymore," Lena whispered. "He robs probabilities." As suddenly the station lights died. A train horn echoed in the darkness despite the tracks being abandoned for decades. Then came a voice over the speakers. "Detective Vane." Elias reached for his gun. "You're standing exactly where I predicted." "Silas." The voice was smooth, calm, almost amused. "You think you're hunting me," Silas continued, "but every choice you've made was calculated weeks ago." The speakers crackled. Then dozens of monitors flickered on around the station. Each showed Elias walking into coffee shops, driving through intersections, entering crime scenes, every movement tracked, predicted, studied. "You see," Silas said. People believe freedom means choice, but choice is only mathematics wearing emotion. Then one monitor showed something horrifying. A live video feed of Elias's younger sister, Nora, tied to a chair somewhere unknown. A countdown clock blinked beside her. 15 minutes. If you want to save her, Silas said, come alone. The monitor shut off. Lena grabbed Elias before he ran. That's what he wants. I don't care, Elias snapped. You don't understand him, she said desperately. Silas creates situations where every option destroys you. But Elias was already leaving because Silas had made one mistake. He made it personal. The coordinates led Elias to Bellgrave Observatory, an abandoned structure overlooking the city skyline. Rain poured heavily as Elias entered with his gun drawn. Inside, hundreds of clocks covered the walls, every single one ticking at different speeds. At the center stood a man in a dark gray coat, Silas Reign. For the first time, Elias finally saw his face, and he looked ordinary. No scars, no intimidating presence, just intelligent eyes filled with terrifying calmness. You came exactly on time, Silas said. Where's Nora? Silas pointed upward. Elias looked. Nora hung suspended above the observatory floor inside a glass chamber connected to cables and machinery. A digital timer counted down beside her. 4:12. She dies if the chamber loses power, Silas explained casually. Elias aimed his gun. Then this ends now. Silas smiled slightly. No, this ends how it always ends, with prediction. He gestured toward the clocks. You know what people misunderstand about time, detective? The future isn't hidden. Humans are simply too emotional to see it. You kidnapped innocent people to prove a theory? No, Silas replied. I kidnapped powerful people because they were going to weaponize Aurora. I simply removed them first. Elias hesitated. What? Silas stepped closer. Victor Hale planned to sell predictive warfare technology to governments. Others wanted to manipulate elections, economies, entire populations. He paused. I stopped them. Elias frowned. You expect me to believe you're the hero? No, Silas said softly. I expect you to realize there are no heroes left. Then Silas pressed a button. Another screen lit up. It showed armed police surrounding the observatory, snipers, SWAT teams, sirens approaching. Elias's eyes widened. You called them? Silas nodded. They traced your location, exactly as predicted. The countdown beside Nora hit 1:38. You can arrest me, Silas continued calmly, or save your sister. Elias realized the trap instantly. If he went for Silas, Nora would die. If he saved Nora, Silas might escape. Silas watched him carefully. Human beings always reveal themselves under pressure, he whispered. Outside, police stormed the building. Silas slowly raised his empty hands. I surrender. Elias blinked in confusion. What? I told you, Silas said. I already know how this ends. The police arrested Silas Reign that night. The city celebrated. News stations called it the greatest capture in modern history. The ghost accountant was finally behind bars, but Elias couldn't sleep. Something felt unfinished. Silas had surrendered too easily. And during the arrest, Elias noticed something strange. Silas kept staring at one specific clock on the wall, 11:47 p.m., the exact time the city blackouts always began. 3 nights later, Elias finally understood. Aurora wasn't predicting the future, it was creating it. The blackouts, the kidnappings, the panic, all distractions. Silas had manipulated the city into transferring all surveillance control to a centralized emergency system after the attacks, a system secretly connected to Aurora, even in prison. Silas still controlled the city. Elias rushed to expose it, but before he could alert authorities, every screen in Bellgrave activated simultaneously. Phones, billboards, televisions, traffic signs. Silas appeared live from inside his prison cell. "People of Bellgrave," he announced calmly, "you traded freedom for safety exactly as predicted." Chaos erupted across the city. Digital locks failed, financial systems crashed, transportation halted. The entire city began collapsing under automated control. Elias realized there was only one way to stop Aurora permanently: its core server beneath Bellgrave's central power grid, but destroying it manually would trigger a fatal electrical overload. No one inside would survive. Lena met Elias outside the underground facility. "There has to be another way," she pleaded. But Elias already knew, for the first time in his life. The great detective had reached a dead end. He smiled faintly. "You know what scares me most?" "What?" "That maybe Silas was right. Maybe people really are predictable." Lena looked at him silently. Elias handed her his coat. "Then let's prove him wrong." Deep beneath the city, alarms screamed as Aurora processed billions of calculations per second. Massive servers glowed blue in endless rows. At the center stood the core reactor. Elias began planting explosives. Above ground, Bellgrave spiraled into darkness. Inside his prison cell, Silas watched calmly through security monitors. Then, something changed. A tiny flicker crossed his face. Confusion. Elias had altered the explosive sequence manually, unpredictably, no logical pattern, no calculable behavior. For the first time, Aurora could not determine the outcome. Silas stepped toward the screen. "No." Elias looked directly into the facility camera. "You wanted to know the future." He smiled. "Here's the problem with people, Silas." The timer reached 0. "We can surprise ourselves." The explosion shook the entire city. Light burst through the underground tunnels like artificial sunrise. Aurora died instantly. Bellgrave systems rebooted. The blackouts ended forever, but the reactor chamber collapsed with Elias still inside. Weeks later, the city slowly recovered. Silas Reign remained imprisoned in complete isolation. Without Aurora, he was just a man, brilliant, dangerous, but no longer unstoppable. And every year, at exactly 11:47 p.m., the city lights of Bellgrave dim for 7 seconds in memory of Detective Elias Vane, the man who destroyed the machine that could predict humanity by doing the one thing it never expected: sacrificing himself.